Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Warframe. And today we're going to go for my Vault build. Oh, hang on. Wrong Warframe. So the thing about Vault versus Gauss is that Vault was always apparently supposed to be the electricity Warframe, whereas everyone assumed he was the speed Warframe. And then they brought Gauss along and they're like, no, Gauss is about speed, not Vault. So the old R.I.P. Vault is kind of sadly kind of true, because the old way that I used to always use Vault was like, ooh, let's go super fast. Doesn't help when you do a hard fall. But there's Vault speed, look how fast I'm going. But now this feels comparatively slow compared with Gauss. And it's worth noting that it is actually slower than Gauss. I did some testing, at least over short range. Running from essentially this point right here. From here with Vault speed, this is on my speed build by the way, all the way to here is about 3.5 to 4 seconds. Doing it with Gauss is pretty much smack bang on 3 seconds. So like that's actually a noticeable difference. But it's more than that as well, is the fact that Gauss gets some effects around him that makes him look faster. I'm probably putting in the appropriate footage here of the actual test that I did. But there's sort of particle effects and stuff around Gauss, and sort of the edge panning, and it changes your field of view and a few other things. It just makes Gauss feel faster. And it's worth noting that Vault used to have all of those effects as well. Like a lot of those effects used to be on Vault, so he always felt really fast, even if he wasn't particularly. And he was particularly, he was very fast compared to everything else. But they got rid of a bunch of those effects on Vault, which made him feel slower, and I kind of wish they had the option to turn them back on, particularly now that Gauss has them anyway. Because the reason they took them off is because people were reporting getting motion sickness and things, so I mean, if they're doing it with Gauss now, I feel like they could put a few of them back on Vault just to make him feel a bit better. Anyway, we'll go into the build. First things first, let's go for abilities. I actually have a few builds for Vault. Oh, it's a cool screen. It's a very cool screen. His passive ability. Grounded movement generates an electrical charge building up 5 damage per meter that is unleashed with the next attack. So essentially you run around and your next attack will do more damage. Not much more damage, but a bit more damage. First ability, Shock. He just shoots out an electric bolt and electrocutes someone. Pretty simple. As you can see there, it arcs between enemies, which is cool. So if you hit one and there's a bunch of enemies next to it, it'll do like a chain lightning effect. His second ability is Speed. I would say it's his signature ability, but not really anymore. Because Gauss just outshines him with it, unfortunately. But it just makes you and nearby enemies fast. Excuse me. It makes you and nearby enemies a lot faster. Next is Electric Shield. He puts up a big shield. Stops bullets. Very, very cool. You can also pick up the shield and carry it. And turn it into like a battering ram riot shield, which is kind of cool. And his last ability is Discharge. He does a big AoE effect, which will paralyze nearby enemies, as well as do a fair amount of damage to them actually, particularly for like low enemies, low levels. At low levels, you can kind of like map wipe with this, which is really cool. But for higher level stuff, it's more of a paralyze more than it is anything else. As you can see here on this build, it's about 15 seconds, which is not a good indication because this is actually the wrong build. This is the build that I actually use, or used to use a lot on Vault. Now that Gauss is a thing, not so much. But we have Steel Charge here, just because I like the mod points for my next build. We have Rush for sprint speed, obviously. Constitution for ability duration. Narrow-minded for ability duration. Mobilize for faster bullet jump and wall glide and stuff. Augur Reach for ability duration. Transient Fortitude for ability strength. Intensify for ability strength. Prime Continuity for ability duration. And Blind Rage for a bunch of strength at the cost of efficiency. So as you can see here, this build is just go very fast and do it for a fairly long time. And as you can see here, we have nearly 25 seconds of speed, and the speed multiplier is 2.33 times our base speed. So that's really cool. It also gives you faster reload speed, which is worth noting. But this build is kind of just the memey bullshit build. Granted, it is the one that I use more often. The next is my quote-unquote balance build, which is a bit more realistic, which is sitting on 97% duration, 175% efficiency, 100% range, and 205% strength. That is Steel Charge, Mobilize, Fleeting Expertise for ability efficiency, Streamline for ability efficiency, Umbral Vitality and Umbral Intensify for health and strength, respectively. Transient Fortitude for ability strength. Prime Continuity for duration. Organ Message for duration. And Hunter Adrenaline for getting some energy back. I honestly don't think I need as much efficiency as I have here. I honestly think I could probably drop a few. And it's definitely an arguable point. Alright, so for Vault, I'm going to actually do a level 100 test rather than a level 145 test. The reason being is that Vault isn't in no way built for... In no way is Vault built for high-level survivability. At least my Vault is not. The Catch Moon, on the other hand, is OP as fuck, so, that's a thing. Someone's still alive. There we go. I think that's everyone dead. It is indeed. So honestly, maybe I could have done the 145 test just because of this area is so small and contained that I probably could have just gone here and did exactly what I did with the level 100 test, which was throw up some shields, pick one of them up, and then just fire through that shit. Because that adds a fair amount of damage, as you saw there. That plus Catch Moon is kind of ridiculous. But the one thing I didn't show off there was his 1. I was using his 2 all the time. 1 for reload speed. You can see there. Ooh, makes it much nicer. I used his shields. The shields give you extra damage when you shoot through them, which is really, really cool. I didn't use his 4, actually, but I could have. That's a stun. It also does a fair amount of damage for lower level stuff, but it's a stun is the main reason it's there. And his 1, throw out an electric thing. But that's Vault, in a nutshell. I would say he's the fast boy, but unfortunately he no longer is. R.I.P. Vault. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Poor Vault. Dethroned as the speedster.